Welcome back into Good Morning Maryland, 6:14 right now. We've been talking about News Literacy Week, and I had the pleasure of working with students at Kenwood High School in Baltimore County. This morning, the story they brought to us. School systems have a new way to think about a disturbing topic, the best way to respond if there's an active shooter inside of a school building. Now, for years, teachers and students have been trained to lock down inside their classrooms if the unthinkable started to happen. Now, there's new guidelines on what to do. It's called the Alice Protocol, and it has been implemented in Baltimore County. After Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, and many others,
I feel like our generation, we're under a lot of pressure.
Current high school students have grown up with the reality that school shootings can and do happen.
It's not something any other generation or any other group of people has ever had to think about as much as we do. It's awful.
And so school systems tried to prepare for the worst. For years, the plan was to lock down students wherever they were when the shooting started and wait for police to arrive. A strategy created with the best intentions, but it contributed to the worst possible outcome.
For example, if you think about Sandy Hook, you had 15 children who huddled together in a bathroom, and all 15 were killed.
The head of the Baltimore County Public School System's Department of School Safety says it was that tragedy and the other mass shootings that led to the development of a new protocol known as ALICE. It stands for Alert and Lock Down, just like before. But now school leaders are also trained to inform everyone in the building what's going on in real time, giving them the chance to counter the attacker as a last resort, or if possible, evacuate and get out of the building. Those last three elements constitute a major change to the previous policy of a simple lockdown. In 2012, there was a shooting at a school in Baltimore County. 15-year-old Robert Gladden brought a shotgun to Perry Hall High School and opened fire in the cafeteria. A teacher stopped Gladden and the shooting. Just one student, 17-year-old Daniel Baroe, was injured. April Lewis says the fact that more students were not hurt or killed was an example of the effectiveness of ALICE, even though it came years before it was even implemented.
Even without training, people did resort to the components of the ALICE protocol. So there were some that locked down, there were some that evacuated, there were those that countered.
This is the second year for formal ALICE training at all Baltimore County schools. It varies depending on the age of the student.
In elementary school, we talk about a bad person. We don't talk about a shooter.
The school system does inform parents when a drill will be happening, along with homework, grades, and what comes after high school. Students say they wish they did not have to worry about their own personal safety.
I feel like they're using us to gather data, statistics, and are kind of gambling with basically our generation, and we're the guinea pigs of whether or not this new program that we're having is going to work and if there's any kinks that need to be fixed with it.
But all the students we talked to say they believe the new ALICE protocol could save lives.
It's like take action. We're not huddle up. We're mostly we're putting ourselves out to protect others and protect ourselves.
In fact, if anything, students told us they'd like to see the training sessions be even more realistic.
It's terrifying to think about, but this is our life and we have to prepare for it.
Now, we produced that story with the help of those students from Kenwood High School in Baltimore County, part of a push by our parent company, EW Scripps, to work with a nonpartisan educational nonprofit called the News Literacy Project. This week is National News Literacy Week, so all across the country, Scripps television stations have been placing journalists in classrooms with middle and high school students, helping to show them how to sort fact from fiction and to promote the critical topic of news literacy. And as for that story, I seriously thought that the kids in the class were going to want to do some kind of profile about an employee of the school, a soft story. The hardest thing I got that I suggested was maybe something about vaping. I thought that was an issue that kids are thinking about. They were very concerned about this. They'd heard about it, but they didn't know about it. And so that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine, it's hard for us to imagine being their age and having to think about this kind of stuff. It just wasn't something we thought about in school or worried about.
Absolutely.
It's totally different. And they were, just wise beyond their years, it seemed.
They sure were. They were great. It was great to work with them, and I hope we get to continue that partnership. That was awesome.